and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance still coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to a chillin' chat. We're just going to chill out, talk about whatever's on our mind. We're just going to try to keep this as simple as possible. Obviously within reason. We'll talk about whatever we feel like talking about tonight, and we're just going to enjoy it. What's going on, Elias? You're the first one to show up for the stream, my friend. We're just doing a simple chillin' chat. Everybody's doing good that's still here. We're all just kind of hanging out, Wang Chung, tonight. Kind of setting up a couple of things. Hey, Shadow Gaming, Raven, good to see you guys. Um, I've got to, thank you so much, Elias. I'll get you guys caught up to speed on, I'm back in production on some videos and stuff. Opening up the curtains because I'm going out to the porch to have a cigarette without falling and busting my ass, hopefully. So we got a lot of, I know there's going to be half of, oh, I found your mini top hat. That's awesome. So figure we'll go ahead and come out here. We'll have a couple of smokes real quick, as best as we can, because I got to change a light bulb and I just haven't done it. I'm back in production on some videos. Thank you so much, Elias. Back in production on videos. I'm hanging in there. What's going on, Chairman? So the big thing is that today I went ahead and edited. I'm editing video again. I'm editing video. This is important. Okay. It's the first time I've really sat down in front of the editor, and worked on anything in a while. Just got a lot going. I'm trying to stay busy, trying to stay focused, and continue working on the channel. You guys probably want to know what's in the maker, the video maker, that sort of thing. A part for Project Spirit has been refurbished and it's ready to go. Weather permitting. Oh no, I understand. I understand, Shadow. I know that a lot of you have got questions on what we got going on for content and everything. Yeah, that Discord server is interesting. So we got a lot of work. I've got work to do. I want to go live for a little bit, kind of talk to y'all. I know that we're not 100% sure. We're going to have to get a couple people to check it out, but there may have been a couple points that Princess Faye may have showed up in yesterday's stream. Of course, we timed her out for being nasty. Take it easy, Shadow. It's good to see you, bud. Holler at. I know you said that you and your dad, do some work on cars every now and again. Might be hollering at you because I know you guys live here in town, so I might need you guys' help. Holler at me. Not like you don't know where I live. Squeeze you guys into a video. That'd be cool. Because we got a fender to do. But anyhow, job is going good. I know a lot of you have been wondering how's it being back to work. I'm working between two stores, and I will tell you, one store is kind of needs work. We'll have to talk about that sometime, Shadow. You know how to get in touch with me. I'll explain a lot to you, okay? I understand, but you got to remember, I'm willing to bet your dad comes from my generation, and if that's the case, it's a different ball game, okay? Okay? And because we're probably from the same generation, there's an inside track to all of that you really are going to need, okay? Folks, since Shadow brought this up, I'm a Gen Xer, okay? And we Gen Xers are some harsh people. We'll tell you how it is. Like it, love it, or hate it, we'll tell you how it is, okay? I'm not as, forthcoming with my opinions as some other Gen Xers, uh, but being a Gen Xer, uh, I'll form an opinion on something, and right, wrong, or indifferent, it's mine, and I'm entitled to it, just like everybody else is entitled to their opinion. Uh, but you have to be very, very careful asking us Gen Xers our opinion because we'll give it to you, and there's an excellent chance you may not like it. So, because of that, we oftentimes get accused of being insensitive because we'll give it to you straight. We won't pull that punch. All right, Elias, I understand, bud. We're notorious for that because we don't pull our punches when we tell you an honest opinion or when our emotions get involved. We don't pull our punches. Um, that's how a lot of us Gen Xers are. We don't pull our punches. We'll tell it straight. Um, so a lot of times, a lot of younger folks oftentimes misunderstand that straight talk, if you will, that straight up. Here it is. This is the honest to goodness truth from our opinion. A lot of times that gets misconstrued as being insensitive, and it's not that we're insensitive. We're just telling you the best way that we know how. Okay. Well, okay. Um, Let me put it to you like this. He's saying it that way, and you have to understand, okay? He's not saying get over it. What he's really trying to say in his Gen X way, look, you know, because this is how I would approach it, and what he might be saying is going to be the same thing that I'm going to say, but he's just saying it with that straightforward, hard talk, okay? We were told to get over it. That's how we were brought up. So that's why he's saying it the way he's saying it, get over it. But what he might really be saying underneath that, and I can pretty well guarantee it, look, I understand that this is hard for you, but at some point you're going to have to move on. You have to move on. Your friend wouldn't want you to do this because if you stay complacent, you can easily fall in. Yep. See what I mean? Think different. Yeah, that's what we were told. But in a more modern sense, that just get over it, move on, really equates to don't get locked into it. Don't stay in that place. Your friend would not want you to stay in that place. Your friend would want you to get up, get out there, and do something. Okay? Whatever it is. Do the next right thing. You have to pick up at this point. It's okay to grieve, but at some point we need to move beyond that grief. Okay? So when he says that you're lazy, no, what he's really trying to say is don't stay there. And when he's saying move on, he's trying to say your friend wouldn't want you to stay in that place. Okay? So in his rough, tough way, he just said what I said, but different. It's the same, but different. Okay? Well, of course he is. Because that's how we were brought up. We were brought up being rough, tough, and hard to bluff. Okay? Let me ask you this. Would you say that, your dad's probably one of the toughest SOBs that's ever, that you know? Probably say yes right now. I can guarantee it. You'll say, yeah, he's probably one of the toughest son of a guns I ever met. That's because of our upbringing. We were brought up by baby boomers, and more in particular, a lot of us were even brought up around baby boomers that were Vietnam veterans. No, you wouldn't say that? Okay. So we were brought up with the really okay, okay. I mean, that might be a matter of opinion, but what I'm talking about, rough, the tough type, you probably never even seen your dad cry. Okay, so we were brought up very tough like. We also grew up and started growing old in a world that technology was even changing. So there's actually a guy that talks about how we could pick kind of the best of the world at that time. To give you guys an idea, the model for Facebook we know came from MySpace, right? We know that. Well, and MySpace is still out there. Okay, no worries, brother. I understand. But the model for MySpace, was the model for Facebook. Well, here's the thing that no one talks about. MySpace was invented by a Gen Xer. This is not a joke. Okay? A lot of people tend to forget that. So the model for Facebook was MySpace, and MySpace was designed by a Gen Xer. Let's go a step further. Um, we Gen Xers started, if you will, learning about, in the 90s, we started learning about the internet. Now, I was not exposed to the internet until 1997. I know it had been around a little while before then. But we were already being taught computer skills as far back as the 1980s when you had to use special computer commands. Like, for example, like on the Commodore 64. There's a whole, to load a game on that, you had to have you had to know how to use certain commands to make it load into a Commodore 64. I was actually learning on a Tandy computer that at that time, if you didn't make your computers IBM compatible, which that was a thing, uh, computer companies went out, it came and went very fast because of that. So I was learning on a Tandy as far back as in kindergarten in I'm sorry, first grade. I was learning on a Tandy computer in 1985. Okay. And at that time, start teaching us computer commands. We had a stupid little triangle we called a turtle because we didn't know how to, the graphics were, we had to use our imagination a lot, folks. But we had to type in special commands to make it move around the computer screen. And I was actually in school with one of those child prodigies that he typed in a bunch of commands and it sent that thing everywhere all over the computer. It was absolutely amazing to see. So we were learning a lot of stuff like that and learning cursive. There's actually someone that said, "Hey, let's screw the kids up and give them a car, give them a manual, a manual transmission car, and put the instructions in cursive." Yeah. I can't write cursive anymore, but I can still read it. Which they really should bring that back into schools. I honestly think that good writing skills beyond a computer are an absolute must. Okay, Zelda, you must go out. Fine, you got to go. I know she's going. She goes out and looks for Galaxy. She always is out there looking for Galaxy. So, you know, honestly, why they don't teach it? It's like when I was in school. Now it's something like they call it something totally different. But you could take a class called home economics, and you learn sewing, cooking, budgeting for family. It was a good class to be in. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to take home economics, ironically enough, because I would be in a classroom full of women. Yeah, Prince Magnum was a little horn dog back in high school. Some things don't fully change, though. But any hoopty do. So, if you will, that was, the early, you don't hear about this stuff anymore. I think somewhere in the early 2000s, we started moving away from home economics and that sort of thing. But yeah, that was actually a thing where you learned a lot of basic homemaking skills. And honestly, I think today we could really use that old school home economics again. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to see come back. Of course, we're starting to see more of the 80s and 90s. Well, I'm working up to doing a video where I had started doing it. I've got the first segment, you know, filmed, but I was actually working on kind of like a generational segment, talking about Generation X and a lot of stuff that we were brought up with. Ironically enough, there's a lot of millennials that do watch this channel. Now, here in the United States, millennials do get a bad rap, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that um, you have a lot of um, you have a lot of misconception about millennials. Millennials get a real bad rap because they got brought up in a tech age for the most part, and to a lot of the millennials, um, when that tech goes down, they can't do what us Gen Xers do. But at the time when the millennials started hitting the job market, they started telling a lot of us that we were no longer needed because of our analog skills. So we were replaced with tech. Well, now today we're watching more and more millennials be canceled because of some of the stuff that they brought back in. And I'll give you a great example. Racism is a nasty word that we hear thrown around a lot. Um, and we really, by 2006, we weren't really hearing until 2006. It was becoming a thing in the past. You did not want to be a racist around a Gen Xer because we wouldn't tolerate it. We had heard the stories of the 1960s. There you go. See, you were brought up at that kind of earlier. You, if you will, yeah, you're still good with analog, but a lot of them aren't. Here in the United States, most of them can't do it. Can't do it. Give you an example. When I talk about analog, phone books, I still keep a phone book handy. Now, granted, some of the businesses have closed down, but I still keep a phone book handy. Why do I do that? Because some businesses aren't on Google. So it makes sense to have a phone book handy. It's common sense. You know what I'm saying? Send me a link, please, so I can work with it. You guys know my email. Just send it directly to me so that sort of thing. All right? Just send it to me if it's, and I've got to do what I do. Okay? We're not talking about that tonight. We're talking about other stuff. So there are some of you that are still, not all millennials, but we're talking a lot of them here in the United States. And they get a bad rap, but honestly, it was just the student is only as good as the teacher. Period. The student is only as good as the teacher. And who was still teaching, who was teaching around that time? You guessed it, boomers. Now, I'm not going to bash all the boomers because that's not right. That's not fair. Okay. That's not fair. There's only a certain group that I have a problem with, and it all has all to do. That absolutely right, Raven. Absolutely right. Actually, here's a great example of of something that has skipped a generation. Okay, right now in the job market, we're seeing more and more of the boomers retire. It's time. Okay, so the next generation in line that has to kind of carry on that old school knowledge is Generation X. So we're coming into our own again, as it should have been in the first place. We got bypassed by the millennial generation in a lot of ways, but things happen, okay? And we're going to have to step in. Despite all the jokes and everything, Generation X, it's our time, whether we like it or not, okay? And it is our time. So if we're going to have to teach, we're going to have to teach the generations that came after us, the things that we know. But give you an idea, in the 1980s, 1970s, for years, certain generations will always, hey, what's going on, Charlie? Certain generations always kind of relearn, learn something, kind of rediscover a particular time frame. In the 1970s, a great example of this was there was actually a lot of folks that kind of rediscovered the Frank Sinatra era in the 1970s. That was actually a thing where they kind of rediscovered Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was super popular again, and there was a lot of things that kind of came into play. In the 1980s, us in Generation X started rediscovering a lot of the 1960s. This is why we've seen a resurgence of Batman, Superman, the Monkees, the Partridge Family. These were big things. What's going on, Viable? These were big things that we rediscovered in the 1980s, stuff that was left over from the 60s. As a matter of fact, the Beach Boys became very popular again in the 1980s. Their song Kokomo. Oh, absolutely. The best Batman that I can remember. Absolutely. Frenchman, that's awesome. So we rediscovered, absolutely, Charlie. I will not argue with that one bit. Now, I will argue if you include voice actors, Mark Hamill was better still. Okay? Mark Hamill was still the best Joker, but right behind him, Jack Nicholson was the best. Sometimes the labels work, but sometimes they don't. You got to know how to use them. Now, I'm not saying the 1980s was all that great. There was some things that weren't so great. Okay? There were some things that just were not that great. This was with the emergence of, oh, absolutely, Viable. Absolutely. BS. Well, welcome to the live stream. That was a guy named Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy was an amazing Batman as well, in my opinion. I don't think he gets enough credit. And I will tell you here on YouTube, if you ever want to see an amazing, they basically took the Christian Bale Batman, took his voice out, and Kevin Conroy voiced Batman from the Christopher Nolan Batman. Yeah, again, send me the link so I can get over there and check it out. The voice of Optimus Prime, yeah, that guy was an amazing voice actor. Get me the link, okay? Send it directly to my email so we can do, okay. Well, we're not shutting down right now. We'll get over there. Send me a link so I can see, okay? All right. So as we've been talking, thank you. Yeah, and there is actually a style to that animation for the Batman animated series. They actually call it dark deco. For those of you who want to be on Jeopardy, that's actually called dark deco animation. And there was a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, Kevin Conroy, who voiced Adam West, was an amazing Batman. He really did do a great job as Batman. I don't think he. Okay. Let me say something right now. Adam West really hit the nail on the head. The 1960s Batman was campy. It really was campy. But Batman was even back then supposed to be for kids because he's a comic book character, and even though today comic books are more teenager and adult than anything else. Oh my gosh, the GoBots! Yes, I loved it. And yes, that was the original Transformers, the GoBots. I did. I always loved Leader One. You know, he was. I don't think he gets enough credit. I don't think. Yes, but as we're talking 1980s, um, which we'll get to. Give me just a second here. We are now seeing a generation. You know, in the 1980s, us Generation X kids rediscovered the 1960s. That's why we seen Batman come back. We seen, you know, the Superman movies in the real late 70s, early 80s. Yes, Psycho was awesome. So that was big to us. Now, in the 1990s, I can tell you that my generation, while I was in high school, we rediscovered the 1970s. Ironically enough, send me the link, Craig. I send me the link. You got the email. I don't know. Not a clue. Send me the link so I know what's going on. I can't, you know, here we are. But, you know, so in the 1970s, we rediscovered, well, I'm sorry, in the 1980s, my generation rediscovered, again, send me the link. In the 1990s, we rediscovered the 70s. Bell bottoms, yes, send me the link. Uh, Bell bottoms actually came back. 1970s bell bottoms came back. This is not a joke. All right. So bear that. Thank you. So if you find that interesting, we rediscovered the 1980s. Well, in the 1980s, we rediscovered the 60s. And we rediscovered you guys sent me the link. I have not seen it yet. I'm right here in front of my computer. So and in the 1990s, we rediscovered the 70s. Disco came back. You know, I'm beginning to think so because I'm not seeing anything show up. So, yep, I'm looking right at it. Yep. So that is it. All right. So if y'all find that interesting, but here's the thing. In the 2000, I'm not on, I would actually just open my email. I'm waiting. Everyone says that, you know, send it. Okay. I don't have it. You guys supposed if something's going on, I can't look at it if you don't. Yeah, I can't do a dang thing unless you send it to me. Because at that point you're pulling my leg. So that's how it's gonna go. All right. I know, but if I don't have a link, you know, I can't do anything. Okay, well then send me the link. I'm still waiting for it. All right. So that's what's up. Send it. I'm looking right now. I'm waiting to see it pop up. It would show something by now, I'm sure. But yes, send it directly to my email. I've got my email open right now, princemagnum1gmail.com. But here's the thing. By the time we got to the 2000s, if you take a look at the millennial generation, they literally were locked in the 90s when they were growing up. They did not rediscover at gmail.com. All right? Send me the link. So here we are. They got locked into the 90s. So a lot of millennials are still stuck there. They didn't rediscover any generation before them. However, when we get to our generation Z, the Zoomers, they rediscovered the 1980s. What happened? What happened there? Send it to me. Send me the email. All right. So, and we're getting, we're slowly winding, I'm only streaming for about an hour. So when you look at it in that regard, since they were stuck there in the 1990s and never grew past it, it's actually kind of sad because they'll say, well, that's old. That's old. 1990s weren't that great. I lived through the 1990s. The 1990s was a horrible time. Um, Thank you, Spaz. Big content creator right there. Y'all get over and check out Spaz's channel. You guys be impressed. Your old Prince Magnum knows some cool people. Spaz is actually one of the cool content creators. We got Viable Solutions here. We got Mr. Raven Nuts. We got the chairman here. We got some fantastic content creators sitting right in this dang chat right now. Awesome folks. Hands down, bar none. Can't get any better. All right. So, in a nutshell, if you take a look at it from that standpoint, basically you have an entire generation that couldn't grow past a generation, couldn't grow past what they grew up with. And a lot of us Gen Xers are very nostalgic. We did grow with the times. Now, some of us do struggle with certain things, okay? There are some of us Gen Xers that do have a hard time because we were brought up that homosexuality was not okay. So when you get into the transgender stuff today and things like that and how a person might identify, we will struggle. Okay, so heads up, we do struggle. Now, some of us have grown beyond that, yours truly. And I recommend any Gen Xer, we still pick up books. Pick up the Mercedes Lackey books, books by Mercedes Lackey, her Velgarth novel, The Books of the Last Herald Mage. It will be an eye-opener, okay? It will definitely help you kind of get over that. It did me in the late 90s. That really did help me out tremendously. So I will recommend it to all of you Gen Xers out there. It definitely will blow your mind, okay? So strap yourself in and hang on because that's an amazing science fiction fantasy series. I recommend it. And I recommend it for anyone who struggles with, that will struggle with, kind of coming to terms with a lot of modern age stuff with the LGBTQIA plus community. You guys got way too many letters. We'll just call it my alternate community. You guys are awesome. I love you guys, and I am an ally. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. I love you guys because you guys are probably some of the most accepting folks out there. But there are a lot of folks in from my generation that will struggle. And some of us are in social media, heavy in social media, TikTok and places like that. So we do have. I don't have Snapchat, Bitsy. I don't have Snapchat. Just send it directly to my email, princemagnum1gmail.com. Just send it over there. All right. Thank you. So there you have that. That's actually really interesting. That a lot of us Gen Xers, yeah, I've heard that too. And Spaz, there you go. Okay. Yeah, just drop me the link. We'll be able to do something about it. Since you're a mod, you can drop it. Um, which we're not adding any more moderators right now. If anything, we kind of need to dwindle it down a little bit. Um, don't know. Don't know. We'll have to address a lot of this at a slightly later date. Okay. Um, Not sure. But anywho, so my generation, we know our time is coming where we're going to have to step up. And that means working in, taking those government positions and things like that. And my generation is very angry. Gen Xers are very angry, and we talk very angrily. I actually did a TikTok a while back. All right. There you go. Um, where I basically, it was like, um, the cancel culture, and people want the cancel culture to stop, and they're turning to Gen X, and we're like, fuck you. You guys deserve to be canceled. Mm, fair enough. That's why I said send it to my email, directly to my email. Which again, my email, pretty easy to remember actually. So I can open it up here. Which I still don't have it. Social. YouTube. No. Nothing. So if I don't have it, I can't verify it. Okay? That's just the way it is. All right? I can't verify it if I don't see it. All right? Sorry. Prince Magnum1 at gmail.com. Send it directly there, please. All right. So, okay. Really, guys, come on now. We don't need to be like that. All right. Folks, I will tell you that this is obviously not the stream for everything that you guys are discussing. You guys know, you see something out of the ordinary, send it directly to my email. Well, that's fine. I can't, here we are. I've asked you guys to reach out to me. We need to talk. Okay? Need to talk. You guys want help, there's an easier way. I mean, I understand some of y'all are mad. But I appreciate that. Your hearts are sometimes bigger than your heads. Which that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, there is ways to take action without causing harm, okay? Holler at me. Okay? But anywho, let's talk about positive stuff right now. That's the main thing. It's supposed to be a positive stream. I'm trying to keep my spirits up and everything. Got a lot of work to do. For those who want to support the channel, we do now have a direct link to my Patreon account where you can become a member of the Prince Magnum channel without YouTube say so. This will also avoid a lot of the processing fees that YouTube has. So I definitely suggest sending me, if you want to support the channel, become a member of my Patreon community. It's available now. You can go directly to the main page and click on the link. in the About section and take you directly to Patreon, and you can become a member for $1 a month. Okay? For $1 a month, you can become a member of the High Mileage Club, not the, you know, Mile High Club. That's a totally different club. No, the High Mileage Club for the Prince Magnum channel for $1 a month. Now, we are eventually going to be uploading a lot of really awesome stuff directly, you know, that you will only be able to see through Patreon. Okay. So, unless you become a member of the community, um, you know, you won't be able to see it. So it'll be outtake stuff, maybe old footage that maybe you've never seen before on the channel, or maybe we've never used. So that's definitely something that you would want to, you know, have at your disposal, you know. So there's going to be a lot of that stuff. Um, you know, so that is definitely something that you might want to get your hands on. We still have the Teespring store. Um, you know, the Teespring store is definitely well, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, again, I'm going to say it, you know, send me a link so I could see it happen. Because if not, I'm just going to, you know. But anywho, so let me again, you know, reiterate, you know, this is supposed to be a positive stream. Send me a link. Okay. Um, ooh, someone else went live. Oh, I know that guy. I haven't been over to his stream in a minute. I'll have to get over there. Um, oh, Red Cross sent me something. I got to go and I have to see when they're taking donations again. Send me a link. Yeah, name of the person who's doing it. No. Yep. There we go. Updates. Nope. No meeting. Nope. No meeting. Inbox. Nope. But alrighty. Okay. So here we is. Um. So for those that don't know, we are getting ready to start also kicking off the car content again. Um, the car content is kicking off, and it's exciting stuff. Uh, Princess Faye kind of, you know, when she left, Project Lena was a bit of a disaster, but we're going to use this time to gear up towards Project, um, you know, towards Project Lena. We're going to use this opportunity because there's a lot of you ladies out there that have discussed with me at great length, um, at great length. Send it directly to my email, princemagnum1 gmail.com. Okay. Grab the link. You can share it out easy. And you guys know how to find me on Facebook. I'm not that damn hard to find. So, you know, I need a cigarette. Smoke them if you got them. That's an old one, but you used to hear that one a lot. Well, the movie I remember that one from is Spaceballs. Spaceballs. Who remembers that movie? That was a good movie. Rick Moranis. Spoof on Star Wars. Yeah, Zelda. How you doing, sweetie? So, alrighty. Hmm. So we have a lot of, again, we're getting back into production. Project Lena needs a lot of work. I've not seen a link, so there's nothing I could straighten out until I see a link. In the meantime, I'm gonna call this basically. I can't, there you go. And this is supposed to be a chill and chat. So if I don't see a link, my moderators can start swinging that wrench. Okay. And any disruption, we can get the links. We can actually get that information. And basically, this is a disruption. Well, it doesn't matter where it comes from. There's always an IP address. So knock it off. Okay. Until I see a link, I don't believe you. I think you're about right there, Spaz. Hmm. That was a neat little flash in the sky. That was pretty cool. Oh, someone playing with a laser light. There you go. That's pretty neat. Well, that gets a good distance. There you go. But any hoopty doo. Um, so we're going to be kicking that off, and I've been wanting to work on a series to show, maybe you got a car that needs some serious work, and address it to our ladies so they can start learning about hot rodding. We're definitely going to be doing a lot of that. Project Lean is a great candidate because she's not a modern car, but she's a more of a modern car that you're going to typically find, in the used car market, because there's still a lot of early 2000s cars that you can find on car lots with low mileage, but these cars can easily fall into disrepair. Thank you, Spaz. Great friend. So, that's just one of those things. We're going to definitely kick that series off, and I've got a lot of work to do because Project Lena needs help. She's a good little car and in working condition, but sometimes things start falling apart on vehicles, and you got to take it back and rework it. So, all righty, folks. We're now getting ready to wind down the stream. I've got some editing to do. I've got some camera work to do. I've got a lot of video to work on. And I still got to go to bed and get up at a reasonable hour because I got a long day ahead of me tomorrow. I'm probably on another 6 to 7 day stretch. You know, got to take care of them bills. I've been left to, finances are rough right now. Okay. It is what it is. Folks, moderators are going to start swinging that wrench. All right. So, regardless, Till I see links, I don't believe it. Okay? People in here try to throw me off my game, you know? But yes, we're back in the editor. First time in about a month that I've really been in the editor the way that I have been, and it feels good. So that's kind of the name of the game. You know, we're getting to that point. All right, folks. It's been fun. It's been real. And it's even been real fun, but all good things must come to the end. You know, she's not to me. Okay? That's my beloved there, man. You know, come on. That's my beloved still. We've got a lot more work. All right. We'll get to all that here in a bit. All righty, folks. So we're going to go ahead and call it a night because I got more work to do. I love you guys. But it goes a little like this as we let out. Don't forget to check out the Patreon account, and whatever you do, if you think about it, get over to the Teespring store and support the Prince Magnum channel any way you possibly can. But that brings us to a great stopping point for the evening. So get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is. Just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you. Come on now. There we go.